In the summer of 2016, in the city of Bel Air, Texas, a stone's throw away from Houston, Don and Antonio Armstrong were both attacked by an unknown individual. They were both shot while they were sleeping. The son heard the gunshots from somewhere in the house and called 911, sending responders rushing to the house. Police officers arrived to find the home security system had not been breached, which means no one had entered or left the house, which indicated that the killer must have already been inside. This is the case of A.J. Armstrong. Antonio and Don Armstrong have been described as a couple at the head of what was considered to be an all-American family. In 2016, both are 42 years old. Antonio was a Texan native and he had grown up in Houston. Antonio had studied at Texas A&M under a full scholarship to play football before going on to the NFL, where he was a linebacker for the Miami Dolphins in the mid-1990s. Ankle injuries ended his career before he could get much playing time, but he moved on to play professionally in the CFL for 6 years. He and his wife Dawn had co-owned and ran the First Class Trading, a gym in Bel Air. Antonio was a personal trainer, motivational speaker, and a general health and fitness advocate. By all accounts, it was a very happy marriage. The couple were parents to 3 children. Josh was the eldest and he was Dawn's son from a previous relationship. By 2016, Josh was a college student. He also developed a close relationship with his stepfather, and he was extremely close to his younger siblings, 16-year-old Antonio Jr., known as AJ, and 12-year-old Kara. AJ was a football player himself, and he was known as the big man on campus, and he and his sister still lived in the family home with their parents. All seemed well until the night of July 29, 2016, when a 911 operator near Houston received a call from a concerned teenager. 16-year-old Antonio A.J. Armstrong Jr. told the operator that he had heard gunshots from his home. When police arrived to check on the teenager, they found that both of his parents had been shot in the head while they were sleeping in their beds. The only other people in the home at the time were A.J. and his 12-year-old sister. AJ had to disable the alarm to allow officers to come into the home. Don Armstrong was pronounced dead at the scene. His father, Antonio Armstrong Sr., was rushed to hospital where he died from his wounds. When police searched the house, they found the murder weapon, a .22 caliber pistol belonging to Mr. Armstrong Sr., and a terrifying note that read, "I've been watching you for a long time. Come and get me." Antonio A.J. Armstrong Jr. is famously known as the son of Antonio and Dawn Armstrong. To most, he seemed like a normal kid, but his life was turned upside down on July 29, 2016, after he had called the police to report gunfire from his parents' room. Police took AJ in for questioning, where he claimed to have seen a masked intruder, but upon investigation, authorities found no signs of forced entry, leading them to believe that the then 16-year-old had committed the crime. He was later arrested and charged with his parents' murder after they found more suspicious evidence linking him to their deaths. That evidence included a bullet hole in his bedroom that came from his father's gun, which was later identified as the murder weapon. At first, he denied touching the gun, but during interrogation, he admitted showing it off to a friend. AJ claimed that the bullet hole was from when he accidentally fired the gun weeks prior, according to ABC News. Where did things go wrong? Months before the murders, things began to unravel. The Armstrongs were frustrated with both sons. Antonio Jr. had failed out of Kincaid. In the text messages, Dawn accused him of smoking marijuana, drinking, and lying to them over and over. "I'm so disappointed in you," she said in one of the texts. 2 days before the murders, AJ put gasoline in a bottle of rubbing alcohol and set a fire on the stairwell outside his parents' bedroom. His dad put out the fire before it spread. Dawn texted a photo of the burnt carpet to Josh. Days before the murders, Antonio Jr. also fired the murder weapon through a pillow and blanket and covered up the hole in his bedroom floor with a pile of socks. Over the years, AJ has maintained his innocence, claiming that he's not responsible for the death of his parents. "There's no way possible. I couldn't even fathom the idea of killing my parents," he told 2020 Matt Gutman in an exclusive interview. His first case went to trial in 2019, but ultimately ended in a mistrial due to a hung jury. Prosecutors then tried the case again but got the same result. Jurors said the two events where he had fired the gun in his bedroom and setting fire to the stairwell, combined with cell phone records that showed that Antonio Jr. was awake and moving around the house beginning at 1:09 a.m. the morning of the murders, he had made the 911 call 31 minutes later. Alarm records also showed that nobody else entered or exited the house that night. After a 7-year battle, AJ, now 23, was found guilty on August 16, 2023 and was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of his parents. He stood quietly in the courtroom when his verdict and sentencing were read. His wife, who was dating him at the time of the murders, sobbed.